Get balanced and abundant in life, love, career, and family.
You are listening to Dramatic Impact with Allie on iHeartRadio.
Now here's your host, Allie the Priest.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to November, right? I'm so happy to be broadcasting to you today live. I'm Allie Lapreet, your host for the hour, and you're listening to Dramatic Impact with Allie. And this is where, this is the show where we get you honing your greatest gifts, reaching your highest levels of personal fulfillment, as well as realizing your full potential. This has always been a very big passion project for me. In addition to so many other things, I'm always working on many things. A lot of you I know have been following me, over the years, even since the days I was broadcasting This Little Parent Stayed Home, which is still accessible, by the way, on iHeartRadio Library. But some have asked me, why? Why did I change? Why am I not doing that anymore? Why Dramatic Impact? What's the difference? And so I thought I'd really just spend a minute talking about that first. There's lots of reasons. I love serving parents, and I always have. And what was happening in my life compelled me to want to work with moms and dads who are really looking for a way to claim their independence when it came to earning an income and, building a career and also building one that was flexible enough for them to raise a family. And I know that this was no easy feat. And the biggest challenge that we had when we first began this movement of work at home parents and, being self-employed parents, we didn't have nearly the kind of support and acceptance as we do right now. And I think that it's important that we draw attention to that. I think sometimes our lives and our existence is moving so fast and we're evolving so rapidly that we don't take the time to realize how far we've come and in such a short period of time. So when I first started, my first business venture, OurMilkMoney.com, and then I started broadcasting This Little Parent Stayed Home, it was because the biggest struggle, in addition to learning how to be a business owner, was how to do it while parenting. And very often we were learning, meaning, we were novice in both areas. We were learning how to figure out how to parent, and we were figuring out also how to be entrepreneurial at the same time. And that's no easy feat. But even more than that, the real struggle came from, I felt, our lack of confidence, because this was new and we didn't know what we were doing and we were trying to figure it out. And as women, we'd never really done anything like this before as a society. And I don't mean to insinuate that all women were insecure. I think even the most confident ones knew that we were diving into a new realm that we'd never been in before. But there was a common behavior that I noticed that was evidence that we really were struggling. And the common behavior was that we had such a need to apologize for being a work-at-home mom. And especially if we came from corporate America, we knew, having a screaming child in the background or a conversation that's getting interrupted by a young child who hasn't yet learned manners. You can't just say to your child, "Can you wait until I'm done, please?" Like, they don't get that. Like, especially, like, maybe they eventually learn that, but 2 years old, they don't get it. They're just screaming for milk or, to be picked up or, whatever. Most of them don't even know English yet. And, we knew that dealing with a child and dealing with our clients at the same time, it was like we had to go back and forth between these two completely different worlds. It's like, speaking Chinese to one person and then English to the next within the same conversation. It can be really, really hard if you're not practiced, if you haven't practiced that. And we knew that probably wouldn't be tolerated in the workplace. And so while we knew deep down that we were valuable and we were capable and we were competent, we felt the need to say, "I'm sorry," way more than was necessary because it was uncomfortable. Now, I do want to draw your attention to this because what has transpired since then is something I am incredibly proud to acknowledge of us as a community, because we've stopped apologizing, or at least most of us have, or we've become more aware of it. We've learned to identify when we are unnecessarily apologizing. We've stopped over explaining ourselves, and we have created a space where we all could call each other out on behaviors that we wanted to improve on, like apologizing. I would say to mom, "Stop apologizing. I don't care that there's a child screaming in the background." And what I found was that the more that I did that, the more I called other moms mom entrepreneurs and self-employed parents, once I called them out, that what I was doing was really giving them permission to own who they were, find the confidence, and call other parents out. And it became this really, avid, growing, evolving community. And I have to say that if you really look at where we were 10 years ago, as opposed to where we are now, we've come incredibly far, incredibly far. And we have set the precedents for new work at home etiquette. And this resulted in so much growth, even outside of our work at home network of parents, that we gave corporate America a real run for their money. And, we became their biggest competition more than other companies were their competition. Their greatest competition was self-employment. They were losing all of their best talent to that. So the smarter companies had to get on that train. They had to adapt to the changes. And I'm going to be talking a little bit today about how we adapt to change and how important it is that you be aware of when you are resistant to change, because it can explain a lot about what is not working in your life, what's not working in your body, what's not working in your business, what's not working in your relationships, what's not working in our country. I hate to go there, but you know what? This is my show and I'm talking about whatever the fuck I want right now because I can. All right. So, you know what? Going back to the companies, we do believe, we have learned that, our biggest competition was each other and not these companies. But the smart companies altered their business practices and allowed for things like better family leave, part-time jobs, telecommute situations. And you guys, we did that. We did that, guys and gals. I mean, I really want you to pay attention to that, because I don't want you to ever, ever, ever again underestimate how valuable and effective you are to the world by choosing to grow. So here's the thing. Getting back to why I changed the name of this show, we accomplished so much on this little parent stayed home. And we accomplished so much that we just began discussing the same topics again and again and again. It was like, well, we conquered that. So I started bringing on other topics about, how to exist as a parent in the world, how to identify the different behaviors and mindsets that we had as a parent as opposed to how we were before we had kids. And we really started to acknowledge that we think differently when we have children. We learn to think ahead. We are incredibly resilient. We problem solve like nobody's business. We're always making decisions for ourselves and for our families that are going to give us a better advantage somewhere in our future. We've learned to be 10 steps ahead, always be prepared for every little thing that could go wrong and still learn how to flow when we're not prepared, when something does come up that is totally unexpected that we were not prepared for. And what I realized is this: as our children get older, we also alter the way that we parent. And I always said that our children are our mentors. And when we acknowledge that we are in this journey together, parenting just gets easier. And so does everything else. So does our growth potential. So dramatic impact seemed like sort of the next level in our succession as we pave new roads for our future, for the young generation that is now coming up, that is parenting, that is working at home, that is really following in the footsteps of the paths that we created for them. And as we become more passionate about leaving our mark on the world, and as we realize that thriving comes from being personally fulfilled, how important that is. And I see so many of us are still giving our power away. Yep, we're still doing it. And how do we give our power away? We blame. We blame something that something or someone or something that we feel we have no control over, and that gives our power away. We still blame others for why we aren't further in life. We blame them for roadblocks. And some of us blame situations. That was something that I discovered this week. I used to blame it on bad luck. I'd be like, well, yeah, of course the electricity goes out in the moment that I hit the microphone. I always just felt like I just was a victim of bad circumstances, but still I was giving my power away. It doesn't matter what you're blaming it on. If you're constantly blaming, you are exerting energy towards that where you could be exerting it towards finding a solution, because there always is one, and the idea that we don't have to be victims anymore to anyone or anything, and that the way that we reclaim our power is to recognize when our habitual limiting beliefs show up. Well, this happened. This opened up a whole world of possibility for us. And, dramatic impact seemed like the next step for us. And dare I say that it is changing us for the better. It's always for better. Change is always best. I promise you. Mother Earth and the universe operate only to improve things and always to back us up. All right, you can count on that. It's ironic because I'm very much part of the resistance, and I use that word resistance to refer to myself as someone who is actively trying to move us forward and make the world a better place, even in times of uncertainty and adversity. But the word resistance is not one that I particularly like, and I would have personally chosen a title to the movement of forward thinkers and change makers to be something more like insistence or persistence. We're persistent. That's what we are. And I really like that. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about this at the end of the show. I had promised you guys on the newsletter that I had a huge revelation and I was going to share it with you. It was just so big to me. And it probably won't be as big to you, but what will be very applicable for you is to hear about my process and how I got to my revelation, because I really truly believe that I'm on to something here, that you guys are going to be able to take, my experience and apply it to your own life and start to reveal solutions to challenges that you might be looking for or have looked for, or maybe you even gave up looking for solutions to these challenges for your whole life. So at the end of the show, you're going to want to tune in for that. So up next, I am going to be bringing on a great guest. She's a friend of mine. She's a longtime listener and supporter of the show, as well as this little parent stayed home. Dawn Klevesahl. She's a work-at-home mom. She built her business from the ground up while she was nursing her babies, and she has 3 young kids still, but she provides a really valuable service for anyone who is also self-employed. And she's been self-employed and she figured it out, through, trial and error, as so many of the smartest people in the world do. And, the clients that I know that she loves working with the most, you guessed it, they're mom entrepreneurs of the world. Dawn's a bookkeeper. She has recently opened up a course that's going to help small business owners who can't afford to hire a bookkeeper learn the tools and the strategies and the importance of understanding your books on your own. And we're going to learn today from her what things we need to be paying attention to in our small businesses. And really, it doesn't matter what level you're at or the size of your business. If you're just getting started, if your company has grown to mid-size, or even if you are still a solopreneur, it doesn't matter. She's going to be giving us some really, really useful tips to be able to, pay attention to what's happening in our books. And we're also going to learn how that can really make the difference in whether or not your business lasts and thrives and grows. So on the other side, we'll have Dawn Klevesahl. Don't go away. We'll be right back. I see so many first-time business owners fail because they don't want to do the not-so-fun task of bookkeeping. I mean, I get it. Bookkeeping is boring, but it doesn't have to be. And here's the thing. If you do not stay on top of your money flow, you could be sabotaging your business. So if this sounds like you got to get to know Dawn Klevesahl. She's a self-employed mom who built her business while nursing all of her babies on conference calls. And she's been helping small business owners just like you get the knowledge that they need to succeed. So Dawn is giving away 2 free books, the DIY Bookkeeping Roadmap and 5 common mistakes to avoid if you want your business to grow. Go to stressfreebizacademy.com/Allie and get your copies of both of these insightful books filled with tools to help you in your small business. They're yours to keep absolutely free, no strings attached. Because as a mom who was once in your position, Dawn is the kind of person who really just loves seeing small business owners succeed. Again, go to stressfreebizacademy.com/Allie to get not 1, but 2 free books written especially for you as a first-time business owner. So being in business for myself for more than 10 years, I always wished that I could be able to afford a personal assistant to handle my busy schedule. I thought it was just a pipe dream, but then a friend of mine told me about Acuity Scheduling, which is an online scheduling software that works with my ever-changing schedule, and it easily adapts to all those unexpected situations that come up as a work-at-home mom. Well, let me tell you, I'm really glad that I gave Acuity Scheduling the chance. The system is easy and adaptable and way more flexible than what I was using. And their customer support actually makes working with them a really fun experience. I know, right? So I'm totally hooked. And now you can go try this for free. Go to acuityscheduling.com/thislittleparent and go get your free trial for 45 days. That's acuityscheduling.com/thislittleparent and get 45 days absolutely free. Zero frustration. There's no selling of your soul. But what you are going to gain is a whole lot more sanity.
Listening to Dramatic Impact with Ali Lapreed on iHeartRadio.
Okay, welcome back to the second segment of Dramatic Impact. I'm Ali, your host for the hour. Real quick, I just want to make a quick announcement for those of you who live in Phoenix. That's my next stop on my book tour, and my book is You Got This. And I really am humbled by the amount of attention that I'm getting from this. And I know it's not really about me. I mean, I wrote the book for you guys, but I wrote it with the idea that it would lift people up, that it would help people. I am getting so much amazing feedback. People writing me personal letters saying that it has already altered their lives. My mother-in-law actually said it helped her understand me. That was a really good one. Anyway, I'm going to be in Phoenix. That's my next stop on the book tour. I'm going to be there the weekend of November 10th through November 13th. And I'm really excited. That's my old stomping grounds where my cheerleading days began. I went to Shadow Mountain High School. And anyway, I want to mention that if you happen to live there, if you have friends that live there, I have 2 free readings. Free. They are free. That doesn't cost anything. Free readings and book sightings if you happen to already have a book or if you want to purchase one, but you don't have to. And they are open to the public. The first one is Friday morning on the 10th, and I'm going to be at the Palazzo at 10:30 a.m. at the Senior Center. I believe it's called the Senior Center, and I'm going to be reading to a bunch of the old age community. However, anyone can come. It is open to the public. My best friend is throwing that for me. Thank you, Tammy. And then the next one will be the following day, Tempe. I will be in Tempe at a law firm at 2:00 p.m. to 5 p.m. That one's going to be really fun. Red carpet, wine, cheese, and the tickets are complimentary. All you have to do is get your name on the list. And if you want to do that, you got to go to yougotThisBookSeries.com. And, if anything, it's just a really fun thing to do. It's free wine, cheese, mingling, networking. And the first 50 people are going to be getting a great big gift bag, a swag bag filled with great products from self-employed moms that I've been working with. And one more thing, you're going to also be guaranteed a hug and a picture with me. So yeah, that's really why. Okay, so let's get to it. My guest today, Dawn Klevesahl, she's a certified professional bookkeeper. But what I love so many things about her. She's become a friend of mine over the years. She's a self-employed mom. She built her business right around her kids, nursing her baby. She was on conference calls. She's super passionate about helping people succeed. And of course, she's got a soft spot in her heart for moms like us. So she became really, really knowledgeable in the area of bookkeeping. And now she's going to be offering a course, and she's giving away lots of, she's got giveaways for us too. So today we're going to find out from her what we need to know about our bookkeeping, whether or not we hire a bookkeeper, what we need to be paying attention to in our business. So welcome, Dawn. Thank you so much for being on, Dawn.
Hi, Allie. Thank you so much for having me. I cannot even believe it.
Oh, you know what? That was my fault. We didn't hear you. Say that again. That was my fault. I had your mic turned down.
Oh, that's okay. Hi, Allie. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited. I can't believe, you've been listening to the show for how many, not even this show, but, me broadcast for many years. Is this your first time I've invited you on?
It is. And you know what's funny is I got started when you got started, really. I think we had our babies around the same time. And one of my networking people said, oh, you've got to check out our milkmoney.com. And I did. And I've been hooked on you ever since.
Oh, well, I have always known that because you've always been very vocal as, one of my fans. And I have to tell you, I just have to thank you because when I didn't know who I was talking to, I always pictured you. I'm like, what would Dawn need to hear today? Or you are among many of them. And I just want to put that out there because I think, so often you think that I've just created, these things based on like whatever I'm going through or whatever. But when I hear from someone about what is meaningful to them, about something that I've said or something that they're really hoping I will say, it really helps me connect with you. And you have been one of my favorites, Dawn.
Oh, thank you, Ellie. That's so sweet of you.
All right. So I am really excited to share with everybody what you do. So you're a bookkeeper.
Yes.
First, can you tell us what made you decide to go into bookkeeping?
It's really funny. I've had a really interesting journey because when I graduated from college, I got hired as a zookeeper.
A zookeeper?
Yes, because my degree was in anthropology, and I really wanted to work at the Wild Animal Park. I lived in San Diego. So I was working as a zookeeper there, but they're hard to get full-time positions. So I ended up working in archaeology as well. Worked on the ballpark project. So if anyone knows the Petco Stadium down there, we did all the archaeology for that stadium. But then I was trying to get pregnant at the time. We were married, and it was really hard work on your body. So I needed to get a desk job. And a friend was hiring, and I happened to fall in with this lady who was one of the most amazing bookkeepers you'd ever meet. She was so smart. And that's really how I got into bookkeeping.
So, and let me ask you, you like it, right? I mean, it brings you personal fulfillment.
It does. I really love, I never would have guessed, but I really love it because it makes sense. It's kind of like having a deck of cards and you drop them all. They're all there. So as long as you can pick them up and put them back together, you've got the picture. So it's one of the things that business owners really struggle with. And I love that it's something that I can love to do. Like I've heard so many people, they say, oh my gosh, I have all these boxes of paperwork for you. And they feel so bad. Meanwhile, I'm running to my car afterwards going, yay, I have a box of paperwork that I get to sort through and figure out and put that deck of cards back together. So I really love it.
I love that analogy. It's similar to the analogy that I always think of that when you're putting together a puzzle, you must be very good at puzzles, right?
I do love puzzles, yes.
Yeah, there's nothing like that satisfying feeling of being able to solve the puzzle. And if you're really thinking about like a typical puzzle with puzzle pieces, I always think, we don't have to freak out that that we're missing a puzzle piece. It's there. It's always there. They didn't forget to make a piece, right?
True.
So, and I love that that they're the deck of cards. It's all there. All the information is there that you need it. So, I love that analogy. So, I've always thought, that making yourself valuable in a specific area of expertise, as a self-employed mom, especially in that area, that it should have long-term value and it's not going to become obsolete. So bookkeeping is actually a really perfect, it's a great career for anyone, who doesn't feel that their job is going to be obsolete. But I also feel that it's important that we find that personal fulfillment. So tell me, I know that you already said that you get really excited because it's like a puzzle, but is there anything else about it that really fulfills you when you're working with clients on their bookkeeping?
Yes. A lot of times when by the time they come to me, they're so frustrated and just kind of done. And it's really fulfilling for me to be able to give them kind of their business back. So I can take that part that's been nagging them and driving them crazy off their hands, and they can just go do what it is that they started their business to do in the first place. And they don't have to worry about it. They know that I've got the bookkeeping part. They just have to send me stuff and I got it. And, I'm so technology driven. Because I started when I had the babies and needed to work around their schedule, I've never really gone into their offices to work. So everything I've done was remote so that really they're free to do whatever they need to do. And I've just got it for them. I pull their bank statements. I pull all the information. It's really hands off. And I just love that it's not a stressor. My business is stress-free.
And I really do want to point that out, that you, like so many other women, the personal fulfillment comes when you know that you've made a difference, right? When you know that you have really made a difference in someone's life, you've made their life easier, you've been of service. That's for so many women, that's where we are in our happy space.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I have to point that out. And I also think that you're such a terrific example of someone who found a way to be a stay-at-home mom, while building your business. We've heard you say lots of times that you were on conference calls, nursing your babies. I love that. One of them, I was able to do that. The other one would not let me. But I would love for you to talk a little bit about how you did that. Because I know you've got 3 kids. So for anyone who might be struggling with that balance, do you have any advice for moms that might be struggling with that?
Yeah, you kind of do what you can do. So when I started out, I was working. I wasn't able to do it straight off the bat. I did a lot of sneaking around behind my boss's back.
I think we all did.
Where I would get a phone call and I'd have to sneak out real quick. And it's like my first client called while I was working at my office, and I took a quick break and I'm sitting outside, and it was in Phoenix, and I'm sitting outside just on a bench out there talking to them and pretending I'm in the office, knowing what I was supposed to know
Right.
and doing what, and it was just kind of just making that decision that you're going to do it and not giving up. I did have a mentor, Danny Johnson. I think a lot of people probably follow her, but she says, do not put any conditions on your success. And what that means to me is there's no, if it doesn't work out by February, I'm going to go back to something else. That doesn't exist. This is what I do. So really work with what you can work with. If you got to do it, I know that Allie, you worked at night. Night doesn't work for me because then I don't sleep, but I just kind of fit it in between naps. When I was on maternity leave, that's how I found out that one of my daughters nurses very loudly. Because I had someone ask me, what is that sound? I'm like, oh, sorry.
The
Gotta feed the
slurping,
baby.
or just does she hum when she eats?
It was more like,
That's so funny.
It's
Yeah.
hilarious. So, and I find, like you taught me, don't make the excuses for them. And honestly, people just adapt.
Yes.
They're going to adapt to the way that you do business.
And I think that is such an important lesson for everything that we're doing, especially right now. We're in a time that things are changing rapidly. And we have to just trust that we're moving in the right direction and other people will figure it out. And if they don't, they weren't the ideal client for us anyway.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, great. Okay, so we have only a little bit of time left, but when we come back, I'm really excited to hear about this new course that you've created. And I want to, I want to just kind of bring attention to that because I know, and we'll hear this in the ads because you are now an official sponsor of our show, that you're giving away these 2 free books, the Do-It-Yourself DIY Entrepreneur's Bookkeeping Roadmap, and Avoid These 5 Mistakes and Take Control of Your Business. And so all you have to do to get that is go to stressfreebusinessacademy.com. Is that right? Or is it Biz Academy?
Stressfreebizacademy.com.
I knew I said that wrong. I'm going to repeat that. Ignore what I said. Stressfreebizacademy.com/Allie. And what you're going to do is you're going to get copies of both of these really insightful books. They're filled with tools. And when we come back, we're going to find out what Dawn is offering in this stay-at-home course for all of us. So stay right there. Don't go away. We'll be right back. I see so many first-time business owners fail because they don't want to do the not-so-fun task of bookkeeping. I mean, I get it. Bookkeeping is boring, but it doesn't have to be. And here's the thing. If you do not stay on top of your money flow, you could be sabotaging your business. So if this sounds like you got to get to know Dawn Klevesahl. She's a self-employed mom who built her business while nursing all of her babies on conference calls. And she's been helping small business owners just like you get the knowledge that they need to succeed. So Dawn is giving away 2 free books, the DIY Bookkeeping Roadmap and 5 common mistakes to avoid if you want your business to grow. Go to stressfreebizacademy.com/Allie and get your copies of both of these insightful books filled with tools to help you in your small business. They're yours to keep absolutely free, no strings attached. Because as a mom who was once in your position, Dawn is the kind of person who really just loves seeing small business owners succeed. Again, go to stressfreebizacademy.com/Allie to get not one, but 2 free books written especially for you as a first-time business owner. How would you like 15 minutes of magic with your kids? You know, studies show that just 15 minutes of mindful parenting when you're fully engaged with your kids will result in a lifetime of memories, more effective parenting, more confident and healthy kiddos, and increased productivity as a busy parent both at home and in your career. Gnome on the Roam is the latest innovation for busy and savvy moms, and my entire staff is going crazy for the Gnome because we all have kids and we all know how difficult it can be to stay on task during those busy summer months. But this summer is going to be your best one yet because you're going to go and download the free app that will provide you with all the tools and inspiration that you need for your daily 15-minute adventure with your kids. Just go to mygnomeontheroam.com/thislittleparent to get your free app download plus $10 off your Gnome kit. That's my Gnome, spelled GNOME, ontheroam.com/thislittleparent and get those 15 minutes of magic right now.
Get your permission slip to celebrate life and make your mark on the world. You are listening to Dramatic Impact with Allie.
Okay, welcome back to the second half of the show. I'm Allie Lapreet, the host of Dramatic Impact, and my guest today is Dawn Klevesahl. And you can get more information about her and the kinds of things that she's created for herself as a bookkeeper on 2 websites. I'm going to direct your attention: www.stressfreetaxseason.com, and if you want to get your 2 free books that she has put out for you, www.stressfreebizacademy.com/Allie. All right. So Dawn, I would love for you, first I just wanted, I'm getting all tongue-tied, which never happens. No, of course it happens. You're a great example of someone who, who found a way to be a stay-at-home mom. And I know that you've had lots of clients, and I know that your clients pay you a pretty good amount. And I also know that you wanted to be of service to people who maybe couldn't afford to hire you one-on-one. So you created this course. Can you tell us about the course?
Yeah, sure. And that's absolutely true, Allie. I go to a lot of networking events, and really this course, it's for anyone that needs to know what the information behind their bookkeeping, but really in my heart of hearts, it's my network marketing people. It's the ones that really don't get to that part of their business. Maybe they don't even know that they're supposed to be doing that. If they want to be considered a business and not just something they're doing for fun. And so this idea has been brewing for a couple years. And when the summer started, it really hit me. I got to do it. Now's the time. People need this. We're doing this. So the course name is Fall in Love with QuickBooks Online in just 3 weeks and transform the way that you feel about your business at the same time. And that's really what this is about. It's transforming that frustration that you have into knowledge that you know what you're doing. And that if you don't know, we've also created a community around the course where you can ask. Because I think especially with small business owners, when it gets to the evening, you don't want to have to sit there and look it up. Sure. I know I don't want to have to do all this research. So a lot of times the other business owners in the course, maybe they've already been through it. Maybe I can guide you. So there's a community. It's a 3-week course so that you can get it done quickly if you need to, but you will have access for an entire year. So
Fantastic.
You get that. Yeah.
So I know that you have mentioned in conversations that you and I have had, offline, that you feel that the bulk of small business owners and entrepreneurs are not really paying attention to their bookkeeping, and it's important that they do regardless of who they're working for. Can you tell me what kind of things we should be paying attention to in our businesses?
Well, one of the biggest mistakes that small businesses make is that they are taking the money out as soon as it's being made, and they're not really giving any thought to their expenses. So just because you made $1,000 doesn't mean you made $1,000.
Right.
It could be that you spent more than your budget and you only made 300, or it could be that you made 500. You don't know until you're looking at those numbers. And the way that technology is today and the way that the internet works, it's really easy once you know how to get that information in almost real time. I mean, the bank, we can download information to the bank immediately. We do like to double check that at the end of the month to make sure that there aren't extra transactions that are throwing your numbers off, but it's something that they're not looking at, are those expenses.
I have to agree with you. I'm not a money person at all. I love puzzles though. And I think that, that was a kind of a shift for me, that when I hated looking at the books, I didn't want to be stressed out. So I just avoided it altogether. But then once I gave myself permission to look at the books, it became really kind of fun, to be, and also I found that it gave me a little bit more control, and that I didn't have to worry, that I could go and raise the money. If there's something that I really, really wanted to do, rather than putting on a credit card, I would go and set the intention of actually earning that amount, just to, put something in place for my business. And it really is an effective technique. So I really back you up there, that really taking a look at your books and understanding the way it works, and not overspending, not spending before you have it, that really can make a really big difference. So you had mentioned network marketers. What kind of things are you teaching that you really feel are going to benefit them? Because I will say that, we get a business in a box. We just think it's all done for us, but that's not the case, right?
Right. And they are kind of lucky because of the way that the network marketing is set up. They usually don't have to have some complicated system for entering sales receipts and stuff. They usually can just enter their income, which is nice. But I know that they have a lot of questions surrounding, okay, I have a kit that I buy every month for $100. Can I write that off? Should I be writing that off? Or if I spent $300 and some of it's for my home, I think that part, they don't really know what they should be writing off. And I think that a lot of them are getting themselves in trouble, because I see a lot of people talking online about that, and it looks like they're writing everything off. And if it's personal, you can't do that. So really, the course, we're going to start with setting up your accounting file and go all the way through to reporting. So that they understand what they should be recording and what they don't need to record.
How have you seen the kind of things that you're teaching? How have you seen that improve people's businesses over time?
Well, I think what you were just saying about being able to look at that number and know if you need to make more money, that's such an important thing to do. So if you have all your income and your expenses recorded, say with network marketing with my oilers, maybe they're making a product out of the oil. So they made a face cream or whatever. They need to know how much they spent on that and how many maybe they need to sell in order to make up for the product and the expenses that went into making that. So that is one of the ways, and they know if they're ready to grow or not.
So you're saying that, and I do this all the time, but I didn't even know that would be advice from you. So I'm kind of excited. Would you suggest creating hypothetical mathematical situations? How much is this going to cost? How much do I need to do? Do you find that that's helpful? Just, creating a sort of fantasy of how it can go well?
Well, yeah, because they can kind of see, they kind of know when they're ordering, how much a jar is going to cost, how much of these little pieces is going to cost. And that insight really tells them, do I charge $20 a head? Can I do this for free? Because some of them just want to do it for free. But if you're not bringing in enough income, you can't really do that either.
That is so true. And one of the things that we were just talking about just offline was how women really have a very hard time I don't want to say undervaluing ourselves, although some of us do, but I have realized that we have a very hard time not putting a value on the things that we're giving away for free.
Yes. In fact, I was just reading your book last night, and I got to the point where you said that when you were teaching Mindy that she's not responsible for other people's financial situations. And that just hit me like a ton of bricks, because I think in many cases we're not charging what we're worth, or they're not charging maybe what they could charge for what they've spent their time building, because they're worried about what someone else's financial situation is. And really, if that person they're going to attract the people who can afford it, right? If you're doing what you should be doing, you're going to attract those people that are right for your business.
Right. And I think that that's also something that we need to do just, as our own sales force, let the people go who are not going to be your ideal clients. I just read this post that Elizabeth Cronies McLaughlin made. She's become one of my favorite leaders, and she's a friend of mine. She's been on the show here before. And she has a summit coming up. And I think the summit is, no less than $2,000 for a weekend. And there are a lot of people that are complaining, like, how in the world do you expect us to pay for this? And she launched into this really long, thing that said, if you can't afford it, then don't come. You're not the ideal client. They are serving a community of high-paying clients. And if you can't afford it, then there's other services that she does offer for as little as $2 a month. So, you can work your way up to it. You can set the intention, or you can just realize that you're not going to be her ideal client. That's okay.
Yeah, and I did read her post. It was really well put. And that's why we do these free things. And she does a lot of free things as well, if I understand correctly. And that's why I'm making the freebies. That's why I have this available to your people, because they really, sometimes you just don't even know where to start. Mm-hmm. And so like the bookkeeping roadmap is just start here, do this, make sure you're doing these things before you do these next things, because especially if you're working with accounting software, sometimes it really matters if you've entered your deposits before you're reconciling to the bank.
This must have really helped you find the value. I mean, so many women who want to avoid this and want to just give things away for free. You must really see the value of our money system. Is that right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so final question. I would love to know, what do you think is one of the most valuable takeaways that somebody who is taking your course should be able to apply to their business?
I think that just the knowledge that you can really do this thing. Mm-hmm. It's not as scary as it sounds. And the difference that my course is maybe from some other courses is I'm going to hold your hand. We're going to do a live call every Friday. And also to make it easier for your people, I did make a site on www.stressfreebizacademy.com. If you do /3, the number, and then weeks 2017, you can go directly in to register.
Okay. So, and just to be clear, this is really good for anyone who is just getting started in business, as well as somebody who might be in business for a while.
Yes. Anyone who's not ready to hire a bookkeeper to do it for them.
Okay. And I love that. And I really do think that this is such a great example of offering your service in a way that people who maybe can't afford to hire you one-on-one, that this is a way to still be of service to those people. And anyone else that's out there, use Dawn as an example, because I love that you've created this. All right. And one more thing, any piece of advice before we go for moms who might be really feeling challenged?
Yes, I would say try to balance your schedule. Have a schedule. That's really important, but don't be afraid to tweak it if you need to make it work for you.
All right, great. And I think that that's really important as well. I mean, one of the things that we have learned over and over and over again is that we have to adapt. We have to be adaptable. We have to know how to change and go with the flow, and how to be flexible, and how to be resilient.
And moms are good at that.
We are. And I think that we need to acknowledge that we're good at that, because so many times we don't even realize that we are.
Yes.
Well, Dawn, it has been so great. I love that you came on the show finally. And you have an open invitation anytime. And once again, I do want to mention to anyone, please go, at the very least, go get your 2 free books, Stress Free Business Academy, stressfreebizacademy.com/Allie, and you will get 2 books that are filled with tools that are going to help you with your small business.